Hey, let's go here. Welcome to Wrestling Around episode 34, Growing Broadway. If you guys don't know, Growing Broadway is basically taking the title, his wrestling talk for basically taking a company's title and taking it elsewhere and taking it through more prestigious, defending it through different other promotions, like cross promotional championship opportunities. Um, so we got a couple of guests here today. One, Sexxxy Eddy, um, has rescheduled, so we're not gonna have him today, but we're still having Jungle, no Jungle Boy, Island Girl Kalaki, WOW, Women's of Wrestling superhero, not superstar, superhero, and CJ O'Doyle, who's from Canada. The Island Girl Kalaki is from Hawaii. It's kind of a namesake anyway. Let me tell you a little bit about. Sorry, let me tell you a little bit about this concept. You know, if somebody, it's more of like a wrestling talk. It's wrestling lingo, pro wrestling lingo. Um, so everything. So so anyway, let me tell you something. The Sorry, I'm dripping off track. Sometimes I do that. Anyway, honestly, there's a lot of wrestlers in the world today. You know, there's obviously it's rolled around people like Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant and Macho Man Randy Savage and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Roddy Piper and Ric Flair. There's those wrestlers, well, they're predominantly male because there wasn't as much women's wrestling as there is now. There's even people that identify as non-binary, and even some trans wrestlers. I believe Nyla Rose is one of those trans wrestlers. But what I can say here is that women's wrestling wasn't always meant to be. Women's wrestling in itself was more of like a comedy act, well, not comedy, but like more of what's the word? Eye candy, where people like Luna Vachon and Sunny in China were like more like valets, wrestling valets, more like managers rather than actual wrestlers. But that has evolved over the years. There's people like Famous Moolah and Mae Young, who are pretty two controversial names in women's wrestling. There's a lot of allegations between the two, with Fabulous Moolah especially, where the trainees basically were put in rough conditions, um were put in quite a bit of a pickle, financially and professionally. Um, there's a lot of superstars that are today that people can't say enough about. That they've sacrificed over the years to put their bodies on the line. You know, that's the longevity of wrestling itself. There's a wrestler um that has been throughout of time of wrestling. There's It all kind of started with the one of the women's wrestlers named Mildred Burke. Mildred Burke is basically the one of the world's most one of the first famous women's wrestlers. Mildred Burke was one of the first. married to promoter Billy Wolf, who's kind of synonymous to training women's wrestlers. Whom he himself, Wolf, has quite allegations against him um, of like inappropriate or like lewd behavior. But I digress. There's and because somebody has already kind of went over that, and I watched some documentary or some interview with one of the trainees of Billy Wolf. I think one of them. So, and there are some that spread out to different, there's always these wrestling companies, WWE, WCW, ECW, like these people, like there's wrestling companies that have a lot of men wrestling, but there are a handful of women's wrestlers that get in the ring and take the bumps into and decides being a manager or a valet. Um like 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 I said, China, Luna Vachon, Miss Elizabeth. Um there's quite a lot of names in this stuff. But it doesn't come to my mind here. But there are a lot. And that does spawn into there's different, even there's women's wrestling promotions. There's historically been women's wrestling promotions like Shimmer, Shine, and even Women's of Wrestling, which has currently has a TV show, currently has a broadcasting license. That is my local programming. Actually, one of my local stations actually show and program and have a lineup involving them. So it's mainly all women's wrestlers. Oh, I brought that. All women's wrestlers on the show. Not saying all women can like attend the show, but as far as I've seen, women's of wrestling is definitely more of a kid friendly, more like a family friendly entertainment of wrestling, of sports entertainment. Um, I'm not saying, they're not downplaying the wrestling of the women, of course. You know, I don't, I don't. There's a lot of other women's wrestlers that a lot of people like to say, like talk about, like to talk critically about, which is like Eva Marie, notably. Um, you know, Eva Marie is kind of justified. I remember when she returned in 2021, and I remember seeing the trail of the Evolution, which was good, which was honestly not bad, not not in presentation wise, but she hasn't really wrestled when she came back. She was more like on the stand lines, like it's like if we win, if Dewdrop wins, we all win. And then I remember Nia Jax like putting like going after her and just putting her through a table like she did Lana several times, like 9 times in a row. Uh but nothing against it. But women's wrestling, I only know a little bit about it. It's just an all women's wrestling promotion. With Santana Garrett was part of it. AJ Lee was a part of it before she turned to WWE. There's quite a lot of wrestling to pack, to say the least. I can say for sure, um, after watching a couple of Kalaki's matches, I I kind of dig it a little bit. I know there's quite a lot of wrestling that it's hard to consume it all, but you know what? After I did watch 2 matches, I can see why it's pretty popular. You know, uh, there's always there's always a time and place for different wrestling promotions to sprout their wings, and there's also like Joshi promotions, which are women's wrestling promotions. But in Japan, if you talk about the Gaia Girls documentary, where where they were put in rough conditions to become a pro wrestler because Japanese has that strong style type of wrestling that are stiff style, snug, make it looks like it hurts, but it actually hurts. Puts a little bit more onto the max, but honestly, there's a lot of women's wrestlers throughout history that is a lot of wrestlers out of women's history that has been through a lot um of punishment. There's definitely some stories about Ashley Massaro. There's definitely stories about China, who actually had depression, that had personal demons, and Sunny, who apparently is who's serving prison time right now for a hit and run accident or an on-site collision, a car accident that killed somebody. And I'm trying to do doom and gloom, but I'm just saying, there's always a time and place. It's always a time and place to kind of be there. Like Mickey Knuckles said, Mickey Knuckles was on here, the first ever women's wrestler that I've interviewed. And Island Girl Kalaki will be the second ever that I interview. Sure, at first I was like, should I do women's wrestlers? I'm not saying like I'm like exterminating, but I'm just like, would it be the same experience? But after talking to Mickey Knuckles, I'm actually pretty positive, It's not really that much of a different experience, I want to give them their fair shake, so to speak. So I'm not gonna do it any further. So I can tell you that women's of wrestling, as much as I only seen quite some bits of it, that knowing only a couple notable workers work there, like Santana Garrett, who used to be in WWE before she got released due to budget cuts, and AJ Lee actually was there quite a bit, and also Tessa Blanchard was apparently in WoW. But wow, I know Tessa Blanchard is quite a bit of a controversial name, but you know what? Honestly, don't care. As long you know they as long as the wrestling product itself, um sure, they may have controversies, but as long as they have good wrestling, that's all I kind of care about, sure, I have feelings in regards to that, like with the Janelle Grant lawsuit. I honestly think that Vince McMahon should be in prison, but he's a billionaire, so he's not gonna actually face any type of legal punishment. Probably some financial woes, but not nonetheless. That's my thoughts on it, and the steroid scandal, and the Mean Boy scandal, and the on and off war between ECW and EXPW back then, where XPW literally had some of their wrestlers invade an ECW show. Yeah, it's it's quite a lot of turmoil. But with women's wrestling, it doesn't really see the light of day, to be honest. You don't know what's going to happen in regards to the types of stuff that they do. There are women's wrestlers that can be as extreme, that can be as entertaining. Like at Carmella, her and R-Truth, when they did the dance break, they that was entertaining. When 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 Vicky Guerrero was the general manager, and I wasn't watching at the time, but the excuse me thing was when she was acting as a heel as the general manager and as the Edge's manager. That was definitely entertaining in some aspects. Sometimes it's cringy by some, but you know what? It's Vicky Guerrero. Come on. And all these women wrestlers of today did deserve their flowers. Even not to doom and gloom on like Tessa Blanchard or any other women's wrestlers that had gotten into controversy. But I honestly don't care. As long as you have good wrestling, as long as you can put on a show, Sure, dude, there you can chant whatever you want. You can chant how that guy's a bad wrestler, how that person is a, you know, a fake. But you know what? As long, that's their own personal business. You can have your own opinions about it. It's like CM Punk. You have your own opinions, but you can't don't spread malicious intent with it. You know, it's hard to come by with these wrestlers. Like, you don't know what they're going through. Sure, Tessa Blanchard even like buried the hatchet with a local with a indie wrestler that she was involved with. So that's good, but that's buried in the sand. Like that's same with Hulk Hogan. But you know what? As long as Tessa Blanchard can at least pay the bills, I'm not saying I'm defending what she did, but there's all allegations. Allegations are kind of really scandalous, really scamming, depending on what type of the circumstances. But in that case, we don't know. It's kind of allegations, and it's just like hearsay. We don't know have any evidence. We just have a lot of eyewitness accounts or alleged testimonies in the court of public opinion. The court of law is the difference between the court of law and the court of public opinion. But I'm not saying anything. All right. So I'm not saying the allegations shouldn't be noteworthy, but I can tell you this I can tell you this much. They can sorry, but let me tell you this much. There's wrestling, and when it comes to men's wrestling and women's wrestling or whatever, they can have to be held accountable. Like the speaking out movement was basically there's like women's wrestlers or fans or people that they knew or they don't know, like complete strangers, like the stuff with Joey Ryan, alleged Joey, the stuff with Joey Ryan. I mean, and what's it, Jimmy Havoc? I think that was another guy that was kind of getting out of the business. David Starr, um, that kind of shot out of the speaking out movement. Um, all right. So anyway, and that being said, I'm going to introduce to you. There's in about a minute, in about a really shortly, where I'm going to introduce the women's wrestler that has, and honestly, when I saw the moveset kind of and the gimmick, it's kind of a vibe. Even though I'm from this. I used to originally from Florida. From Florida, I'm not in Hawaii. I kind of, I kind of get it. I used to go to the beach a couple times and get that feeling, and I kind of vibe with this wrestler. But you know what? I'm enough said. I saw our match with Veronica Vicious Veronica Varoom, and the the wrestler who was managed by Lana Star. Um, but they were both having good matches. One of them was a losing effort. One of them when he beat Veronica Varoom, which is an interesting name. Kind of think of it. Uh, it's really interesting, like these names that people come up with. Sure, it can be generic. Sure, it can be actually intriguing, and could be all out funny. You know, it depending on who came up with the name, we don't know. It's completely different in regards to who it is. But the Island Girl Kalaki, that honestly is a good name to have, to be honest. It- but so honestly, I have I'm just kind of like going on a whim with these, so just seeing how where it goes. It may be a little bit of broken record saying asking the same questions, but you know what, kind of genuine connection with them. But anyway, let me introduce the woman, the WoW superhero, not superstar, superhero, the the pride of the Pacific, the Island Girl, Kalaki. Now, thank you for joining us, Kalaki. I appreciate you
Aloha.
coming
How
out.
is everybody?
I'm I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me okay?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, I'm just making sure. I know you kind of. I know I sent you it on the Instagram and kind of told me to do it in an email. So I don't know if there was any problems with that. So I was kind of
No, it's
confused a
just
little bit. So
I couldn't copy and paste it, so it was fine.
you. I think you need to. You just needed to tap on it and just not needed to click on it. Were you? Was it like you were on a laptop
No,
or
I'm
like a
on my
computer?
phone. I'm on my phone.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I think it was just connected to the words, the text, but anyway, overall you're here. So 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 I heard you wrestle on Woman Wow. Is that right?
I do. I currently wrestle as Kalaki on Women of Wrestling.
I heard what I heard about women's wrestling. I think there's only like a couple, like a all women's pro wrestling promotion, like all women's wrestlers, or at least the name says of women's of wrestling. Um, I've heard a couple of notable names that worked there, like Santana Garrett, who used to be in WWE, AJ Lee or AJ Mendez, whatever you prefer, and the controversial Tessa Blanchard.
Hmm.
I've heard a little bit about women's wrestling and only watched a little bit of program. What can you tell me about women's wrestling that unusual viewer like coming across women's wrestling would want to know?
Women of Wrestling is basically a platform for women to display their strengths. It's something to put women wrestlers on their own platform. And every woman that's been through there has been their own basic superhero. And controversy or not, they're still um, top top athletes in the league. So I feel like every woman that's been through there has been an absolute role model and somebody that everybody or multiple people or different people can look up to. And there's somebody relatable to everybody on Women of Wrestling.
I see. How is mainly the atmosphere at women's wrestling? If you don't mind me asking
The
to
atmosphere
you.
is awesome. I love it. It's full of women who are just really really happy to be there, and we support each other. Basically, that's my experience. I can't speak for everybody, but my
Of course.
experience going into Women of Wrestling has been a very positive one, and I think it's because I've always had a positive outlook in my own life. So that's what I try to carry into the locker room with me when I go.
I see. That's definitely definitely some inspirational words in regards to like keeping a good positive mindset, even despite the different setbacks or different conditions that you're put in, no matter where you work. Um, so who came up with the what was the idea behind the Island Girl name or the Pride of the
Uh,
Pacific?
it's something that has been growing with my career. When I first broke into wrestling, I had gotten my first WWE contract. I was under developmental. I was sent to Deep South Wrestling here in McDonough, Georgia, and I was under Bill DeMont and Dave Taylor and Jody Hamilton for Deep South Wrestling. And when Stephanie McMahon saw my pictures, she said, "Wow, that's an Island Girl. We're going to put her with this tag team called High Impact." And so that's how the Island Girl came about. And I took that and I ran with it because, of course, I am from Hawaii. So I thought it was absolutely amazing and awesome that I could run with myself and bring myself to life.
So it basically stemmed from the first impressions of Stephanie McMahon just saying, "Oh, that's an island girl," like, and you
Yes.
took that as inspiration.
Yes.
That's excellent. You know, Stephanie McMahon. I know. Obviously, Vince is not as frowned up on as well as well rounded as Stephanie. You know, Stephanie is really well loved. I'm hearing behind backstage and with WWE now when she does appear. And that's a good inspiration to have. Stephanie McMahon, sure, she may slap somebody across the face as an authority figure, but it's definitely a good inspiration in this business. So you mentioned Deep South Wrestling. There's also another wrestling company. I think you may have wrestled a match or two with OVW. Is that right?
I have, and that's actually where I first started wrestling. I started the beginner class back, oh gosh, uh, 20 some years ago. So,
Wow.
yeah,
That-
it was over 20 something years ago. I'm not going to say the
okay,
exact number,
so
but
that's like
yeah,
around the time of when Randy Orton, John Cena, Brock Lesnar, like before them, like
yes,
Batista,
it was
like over.
around that time. Yes, it was around the time of the first Tough Enough. Let's just say that.
Ah,
And
okay.
yeah, and my daughter, she was in diapers. And if anybody knows who my daughter is now, she is, working on the indies, and she's a force to be reckoned with as well. So yeah, I'm still here, I'm still doing it. And OVW was the first place that I ever stepped foot in a wrestling ring.
I see. Um, Correct me if I'm wrong. I think you had actually had a wrestler who you were. I don't want to be personal or anything. I'm just trying to make sure like I'm inaccurate. I don't want to push any personal buttons or anything. You had wrestler. You had a person that was in the wrestling business who you were married to. Micah Taylor. Is that right?
Hmm.
And And what how was he as a person? I know you have different feelings because you were married to him, and it's the different feelings in regards to it, like the wrestling aspect kind of thing. How showy was
He
he with
was
it?
an amazing worker. He was somebody that could make sense of anything, and he could go in there and save anything and make anybody look great. He was the total package. He was a complete athlete. I learned so much from him coming up in the business, and he, also gave a lot of knowledge to my daughter. He left a lot of knowledge with me that I now pass on to my students at my school. So, yeah, he was a very well rounded worker when it came to wrestling. As a person, he was an amazing person. He was an amazing dad. He was an amazing husband. Um, anybody that he came into contact with, they either loved him or they hated him. If you watched our episode of Wife Swap, that our episode that we were in for Wife Swap just basically summarizes and summed up our whole life. So if you haven't had an opportunity to watch that, I suggest watching it because that kind of gives you a glimpse into how it truly was.
I see. Definitely will take note of that and put that under advisement. You mentioned Deep South Wrestling and where you used to kind of early in your career. I know that you mentioned that it was a developmental contract in Deep South Wrestling. Can you describe how it was in Deep South?
Deep South was it was all kind of different experiences. It was an adventure. It was really something that I was going into, not really, because when I came up in the business, I was learning as I went. It wasn't something that I grew up in. I
Yeah,
didn't watch wrestling as a little girl. I didn't I didn't have brothers, that I could watch wrestling with, or my dad didn't watch it. So when my husband introduced it to me, it was a foreign sport. It was a foreign
yeah.
business. So when I got my contract, I had no idea what I was walking into. All I knew was that I had to go in there, work my ass off, and do my best, and that's all I could do. So that's basically all I did is just go in there every day with a positive attitude, and I tried to learn as much as I could. I tried to absorb, and it wasn't a place where you went in to try to make friends or try to, you know, have a good time. It was a place of business. You went there to work. You went there to work on your craft. You went there to get better. And it was intense at times.
See. You also after Deep South, you actually wrestled in the all women's promotion of Shine. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. I was on the very first episode of Shine, and a lot more thereafter. And I don't know if anybody has seen my schedule, but I will be on the next Atlanta show for Shine. It's been a while since I've been on Shine, and I'm coming back, and I'm super excited about it.
Yeah. And in regards to like, the like all women's wrestling promotions like Shine and Shimmer and women's wrestling, you know, there's like back then, women's wrestling as it was not really as as well known or more well known than it is now. Like there wasn't any like women's wrestling promotions back then. Sure, there's like nowadays we have like the Joshi wrestling scene in Japan. I think you may have heard of like with Marigold and Ice Ribbon.
Mhm.
Um, there's it's honestly a good way to kind of branch out to have their own sphere, to have their own platform in regards to having to show what they got in the ring. Um, what can you tell me about Shine as a promotion?
When I first started working for Shine, I thought it was great because it was one of those all women promotions that it kind of felt like where I am right now, and it just there was a lot of positivity going around in the back. And I didn't live down in the area, so I didn't get to mingle with everybody. I basically just went down there, did my match, and then I came home. So there was maybe one or two times where I did get to hang out with some of the girls, which was really fun. But other than that, I did went there, did my match, and I went back home. So I'm excited to be going back and getting to see a lot of the girls that I used to work with, and yeah, it's just going to be a good time. Um, there are definitely more opportunities now for women than there were back then, because I remember Shimmer being like the only all women's promotion at the time. And I wanted to go there, but it seemed like things were just getting in the way of me being able to go to that promotion. Like I went to Japan for 2 tours. I went to Hawaii, and I went to I started working motion capture. So there were other things that I was doing that weren't allowing me to make my way up that way. But I commend all the girls that worked for Shimmer. I mean, I wish I could have been a part of it. That it does really look like something special.
That's definitely good to be kind of sure. It may not at that time, but Shimmer's not in business anymore. But Shimmer, as it was, is a part of history.
Mhm.
Those women's all women's pro wrestling promotions
Right.
as a whole. Um, you meant you meant so I brought up the fact that OVW. You also like in a couple in the recent years, you actually wrestled for OVW. Like, I know quite a couple people that were there. Obviously you can name like, Shelton Benjamin and Brock Lesnar. That was back in the day. But nowadays there's people like I had was it Doug Basham, who I believe wrestled I believe wrestled for OVW a few years ago. And the person who owns OVW nowadays, Al Snow. What was the atmosphere like in OVW?
It was it was it was good. Like I said, I don't know what the atmosphere is like um other than when I go and my
Okay.
experience. So, and like I
Yeah,
said, I
of
go in with
course.
very positive vibes, and I'm really oblivious to anything else that's going on around me. So, if
Okay.
there is tension in the locker room, I don't know about it because I just don't try to get involved, and I don't try to buy into it. So, I just go in there, I try to be positive, I try to have great matches, and then I go home. So, my experience with OVW has always been a positive one, and I really do enjoy going there. I love seeing Al. I love seeing Dave. I love seeing all the girls and and I love meeting new people every time I go up there. And it's just a very positive learning experience because I learn something every time I go. And from the littlest thing to like something that maybe I didn't know before, but every time I go there, I do learn something new, and I just keep growing. And so I love it.
So when you were growing up, or whenever you gotten into the business, what was your mainly the obviously having positive outlooks and wanting to like just you said going into work and just getting going home, and then not paying attention too much to it and just paying attention to what you have to do. So what I was asking is what was your what was the wrestlers that gave you the inspiration to kind of keep that when you started watching it, what was your inspirations to actually pursue it like more in more in depth further, like what are your wrestling rush like sorry wrestling Mount Rushmore like of people of inspirations?
So when I first started watching it, my husband introduced me to it, and I really wasn't interested until I saw a clip of Trish, Stephanie, and they were in that era where Stephanie was going through the drive-through and getting married to Triple H. I think it was
Yeah,
no, somebody else. I don't know. It was that storyline way back in the
yeah, it
day.
was I think it was Test.
Test. Yes, it was test. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
it
Okay,
was that
so
was in
yeah.
2001. Yeah.
So to me that was hilarious just because my husband and I got married in Vegas and we got married in the Little White Chapel. So I thought that was really funny. And it caught my attention. So whenever Stephanie would come out and act like a brat, that caught my attention. I just thought it was the most funniest thing. And I was like, who is that? She is hilarious. And then I saw Trish come out and I was like, whoa, okay, she's gorgeous. Like, what's gonna happen? And I wanted to watch like all this stuff unfold. And to me, that was exciting just to watch it all unfold and happen. It was like a soap opera. And that's initially what hooked me to wanting to watch it more and more and get into it. When I found myself actually at training and doing all this stuff, it wasn't something that I wanted to do. My husband was like, "Hey, you want to do this with me?" And I was like, "Okay." And then we were doing the drills, and I was just mimicking what everybody else was doing. And I was asked, like, how long have you been doing this? And I said, today. And they were just like, what? And I go, yeah, I have never done this before. And they were just kind of like shocked. They were like,
Yeah,
wow,
it's
you're picking it up really well. And
yeah,
I just have a way of being able to mimic stuff. So that's the only thing that saved me because when it came to being in an actual match, oh my God, I was awful. So it was something that I really, really had to practice and really had to focus and study and learn. And it was a lot
yeah,
of hard work. Like the moves came easy to me, but as far as like making them make sense and where to put them
yeah,
and remembering the
yeah.
names, like that was a challenge. But it takes time. And that's why now that I have a school, I'm very patient with my students and I do get a little impatient when I have to repeat myself 50 times, but it's fine. We're at school, it's a place to learn, and we have a lot of fun.
You briefly brought up when you were talking. It was about when you asked your Micah said you basically was like, do you want to do this with me? And you're like when you actually took on it, when you actually pursued it, you got the hang of it. And decided despite being what's the word, the greenhorn in the business. So when you first starting to get to know Micah, did you know he was a wrestler?
We met in high school in Hawaii, and he was
Ah,
16 years old. I was 17. He was a junior. I was a senior. No, he was an amateur wrestler. He was
oh,
a very good amateur wrestler. He went and took second in the state of Hawaii for amateur wrestling. And that was like his passion. And he was and football. So when he graduated high school, I went to I graduated a year before him. So when I graduated, I went and played college volleyball in California. And when he graduated, he got a partial scholarship to play football at Whitworth in Spokane, Washington. So that was his other passion, was playing football. And he like I said, we moved up there and then found out that we were pregnant. So we ended up moving back home to Hawaii and had our son, and who is 30 now. And
Oh.
yeah, and then that's when he decided he was going to join the Marine Corps. So after he joined the Marines and did his 4 years, he then decided he wanted to be a professional wrestler.
So this was way so this was way before he got into wrestling. You guys met you guys
Yes.
met right in like June, it was literally in high school.
Yes,
So
literally in high school. Yeah,
that's
everybody, it's so
talking
funny
about
because
I guess you could say that's your high school sweetheart.
oh, it was my high school sweetheart, definitely. Yeah, and it was so funny because coming up in the business, everybody would be like, "So did you guys meet in the business? So, are you guys dating? Are you guys?" And we're just like, "No, we've been together. Like, we pursued this together. Like, we started together. We did everything together. So it was a journey that we were on."
Well,
And not only did we do it together, we did it with two kids. We did it with two kids. We moved
that's
from Hawaii to Kentucky with our kids and our
that's
clothes, and we
and
pursued wrestling.
that's where I believe that's where OVW is headquartered nowadays.
Yes,
Even though it's called Ohio Valley Wrestling, it's in
right.
Kentucky.
Yes, it's in Louisville, Kentucky. That's right.
uh, Despite Al Snow actually being from Ohio, but I digress. uh, so, um, so so you basically kind of went to when he had like matches over. So you had like wrestling with kids when you had little ones when you were pursuing this dream of yours alongside your husband. Um, so did you basically attend like like in regard to like mostly majority of his matches whenever he was booked?
I did. And you know what? I wasn't allowed in the locker room. So I was in the beginner class. He got moved up to the advanced class pretty quickly. And I got to go and sit in the crowd with the kids and watch the show. And um, so nobody really knew that I was training behind the scenes. And I kind of kept it quiet. And then when he eventually got signed to his contract, they picked a group of them and they moved them down to McDonough, Georgia, where they started Deep South Wrestling. And then it wasn't until we all moved down, we got settled here, that I then got my contract. So that's when I got signed, was here in McDonough, Georgia.
I see. So it's definitely I guess there's a lot of, I guess you could say, chemistry in regards to personal life and professional life, which is a good thing to have. Juggling, trying to travel with children, trying to travel with offspring. That's another struggle that people have. Like with modern day wrestlers, that they want to start a family. Like obviously, the Anua'i family and the like that, like people like Roman Reigns and Randy Orton. Those
And you
people
know,
have children.
right, and back then, uh, it was not common to have kids and try to do this, you try to pursue this career. It was kind of looked down upon because they were just like, "Oh, you want to do something where you're going to have to leave your kids all the time? Like, why are you doing this with kids?"
Yeah,
We were looked at really strangely. Like people were just like baffled as to why we wanted to even pursue this career. There
yeah,
was a lot of times when people were looking at me like I was crazy because I would be putting up a ring with my daughter on my back with a backpack, and
yeah,
they're like, "What the heck is she doing? She doesn't have to do it." One person came out
yeah,
to me, they're like, "Go sit down. You don't have to do this with a kid on your back." And
yeah,
I was like, and my husband had to come say, "Hey, she's in the beginner class. Like, this is what
yeah,
she has to do." And
yeah.
so
Um,
they're like, "Oh, okay." So it
it's
was really not a common thing to have kids in the business back then.
Yeah, as long as you're able to kind of like pay your dues and do and actually get through with training and going through the matches and going through the motions and stuff and going through the bumps, as long as you're able to do that, it's in my opinion, at least if you're capable of doing enough and doing it with your children, with your offspring, when within close proximity of you,
Right. I never
as
made
long as it,
excuses. Like I never made excuses. My kids were on my hip, by my side all the time. Like if we were at a show, they were right there with me. If I was setting up a ring, tearing it down, they were right there, sitting down, being good, and I was helping. And then I'd go back to my kids, and they were
yeah,
never an excuse for me not to be able to make it somewhere or go somewhere. They were such good kids too. Like they just did whatever I said. Like, okay, come on, we're going. Okay, we're going. And then I think they enjoyed watching the shows, and they enjoyed being in the atmosphere. And everybody was really great to them. So
that's a good thing to have. Happy. There's it's a happy life in regards to what people think.
yeah, and
It's
I'm not saying it wasn't a hard life. It was a really hard life,
obviously
challenging. It was something that we had to make a lot of sacrifices for. And as far as like my kids coming up in the business, they came up in the business. Like they were in the locker rooms. They were there with me. They saw a lot of things, um, which naturally, which is why my daughter wanted to become a wrestler. So here we
that's definitely good inspiration to your kids. Not looking back at it. If you know it's it's like with how Randy came up in the business. He was because his father and grandfather were in the business prior to him. That's a good inspiration. Despite the type of environment wrestling is, it's kind of more of as it can still be inspiring in a way.
It is, and, and,
But
and there are a lot of life lessons to be learned when you're going through this business, because it's not an easy business to grow up in, and it sometimes you have to take a step back and sit your kids down and have those talks with them, and just stuff
yeah,
that they see or stuff that's happening. You really have to sit them down and tell them, okay, this is right, this is wrong, this is not good, this is good.
yeah,
um and there's a lot of those
and
types of time, and not saying that they're always going to listen to you either.
yeah,
So
and at the and in the age that they are, if they're like toddlers, if they're like really young kids, like they don't know what like wrestling, like professional wrestling is, or kayfabe is, like the type of thing, and they just kind of like they get add like a show, like a baseball game or something, like they cheer on regardless. It's if it's a bad guy or good guy, just like come on, get it. Like when if your children in the stand in your wrestling, if you're wrestling a match, and I think was it your husband or your kids are in the audience, and you're just like wrestling. I bet they kind of just cheer despite not knowing what it fully is yet.
right, right. And there was a lot of times where, they were afraid because I was getting beat up or I got hit by a chair or something happened. They didn't understand. They were just like, oh my God, what's happening? But and then you got to sit them down and talk to them and tell them what's going on,
Yeah,
and like kind of bring them in. But like I said, they're going to grow up, and you're just hoping and praying that they grow up to be uh, positive influences in society. And it's not always up to you. It's
yeah,
unfortunately, but
yeah.
I'm very blessed.
No, as you should be. Anyway, throughout from was it 20 about 20 years in the business, um, you faced quite a lot of names in WoW, in OVW, in Shine, in Deep South. Um, Probably a lot of notable names right here. Uh, you don't mind if I kind of go over some of the names, and you could give me your your thoughts, and if you had a relationship with them beyond professional bounds, and got
Okay.
to know them on more like a personal level. You don't mind that?
Nope. Go ahead.
Okay, okay. Jillian Hall.
So she was my first match ever. First match ever, ever, ever. And I to this day want to, like I always say, I'm so sorry. for that match, just because I was so new and didn't know what was going on. Like I had no clue how to do a match, and I was thrown into that match. It was one of those things where they needed somebody, and they're like, "Hey, do you have your gear?" And my husband was like, "Yes, she's got her gear," and I was like, oh my god. And they made me a heel of all things, and it was the worst. Like it was a really bad match, and I'm so sorry, Jillian. I love you.
Well, at least,
But yeah,
well,
I mean, we laugh about it now. I laugh about it now. I don't know if she remembers it, but it was my very very first match at OVW. Yes.
well, I guess that's I guess that's one way to get into the wrestling business. Just more like, just I guess that it was more on the fly. I bet.
Yeah, it was it was an experience. I learned a lot from that match. Yes.
Michelle McCool.
Met her in Deep South. Great girl. Loved her to death. We leaned on each other a lot when we were at Deep South. And she went off to have an amazing career, and I'm so proud of her.
Yeah,
So
and now she's married to the Undertaker.
that's right.
She's one of the most famous wrestlers of all time.
Right, right,
And she's
right.
doing the podcast with him too.
Yes, yes.
That's a good way to kind of be to call somebody your coworker or
Right,
one of
right.
your coworkers or friend. Um, Angelina Love.
Angelina Love, we started at Deep South together as well. And that was part of the reason why I got signed. Bill one day pulled me aside and asked me if I would be willing to come in and help, um, kind of just be somebody that she could lead and work with, because she was the only girl that got signed and sent down to Deep South at the time. And when he asked me to work with her, he just said he wanted her to get some experience and how to lead other girls rather than just working guys all the time. And he
Yeah.
wanted her to be in charge, right? So
Hmm.
I said, Bill, I'm not good. And he said, Tracy, it's okay. She needs to learn how to lead somebody that's, not good.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, I mean, I'll do it. Okay, fine. So I started showing up to training and started training with her. And I remember we had a match on Deep South Television, and it was like one of my debut matches and hers. And I had a broken foot at the time, and
Ooh.
we had to improvise because the match that we had planned wasn't going to go as planned. And so I got cleared to go ahead and do it, which if you ever watch that match, you'll see that I'm down selling a lot. And it's just because I really couldn't walk.
Yeah.
And we got through it. It was great. And then, after so many months, I took some pictures and sent, my stuff was sent in by Bill and Jody. And then I got a call from Tommy Dreamer offering me a job.
Wow. Mm,
So,
That's mm, it's
yeah, anything's
another
possible.
way. Another way to get the foot in the door.
Right, right. Yeah. Anything's
uh,
possible. I never in a million years thought I was going to get a WWE contract. Like, that's not something that was in my sights, but it happened. And when it did happen, I was like, oh crap. Like, I got to like really know what I'm doing now. So I jumped on it and I got myself into the best shape I've ever been in, and started studying and started really like eat, sleep, drink, whatever, wrestling. Wrestling was my life.
Nana Tanahashi
Nana Tanahashi.
was
Did she go by
is a
something?
Japanese a
Did she go
Joshi
by?
wrestler.
Did she go by something else now?
I think she's retired. I think she
Nana. Okay, she was the head locker room leader in Japan. I think
I
that's who
believe.
she was. So when I went to Japan, I did two tours. I did one tour where I wrestled for the NWA European Women's Championship. I had that dropped to me in Hawaii, and I had to carry it to Japan and drop it to Fuka. and that was in Sun. It was 01 in Sun, and I dropped that title to her. And I also had the opportunity to wrestle Asuka. Her name was Kana at the time,
Yeah.
and my tag team partner was the legendary Aja Kong. And I mean, it was just to wrestle there and to wrestle these legends and to be able to wrestle in Corrigan Hall and wrestle in all the main auditoriums that they wrestle in. It was just mind blowing because I never in a million years thought, one, I'd have a WWE contract. Two, I'd ever get to go to Japan to wrestle. The second time we went with a team from Hawaii, and we were Team Hawaii, and we wrestled against Japan. So they had like Japan versus Hawaii. Very, very controversial, but it was a fun time, and yeah, it was really fun.
Sumi Sakai.
Sumi Sakai, love her. Yeah, we came up on the indies together. Love her to death. We had some really great matches together. She is still wrestling from what I understand. And I reached out to her like a couple months back, and I was asking her like where she is now, and she told me where she is now, and I'm just hoping that maybe one day we can reunite and do another match together since we're both still at it.
Su Young.
Sue Young, she was my tag team partner at Shine. We were the West Coast connection. Had a super fun time working with her there. Love her to death as well. Um, I am so happy that she went on to do this gimmick that she's doing now because it's amazing. Love it, and I just hope she's doing well. I haven't heard from her in a minute, but I hope she's doing well.
Velvet Sky.
Velvet Sky. I haven't worked or seen her since Cedar Town. And oh my gosh, that was like, whew, many, many moons ago. So I just remember working her on an indie show in Cedar Town, Georgia.
Jazz.
Jazz, love jazz. Okay, so when my first day of training at OVW, I walk into the arena, and they're doing little drills, and they're learning how to do arm drags and neck breakers and flippers. And there's a woman there teaching people how to do flippers, and it's Jazz. And me not knowing anybody in the wrestling business, I'm standing there learning how to take flippers from Jazz herself. And to this day, I credit her on my flippers. And the small things, you know. And if you look up, there's a match on YouTube that you can look up. It says Jazz wrestles some pretty little jobber. Speaking- I think it was in like Mississippi, and it was way back in the day. I mean, I think she had just had her twins. I don't know. I think, yeah, I think she just had her babies. And I was a heel. So it's a pretty good match. I went back and watched it, and it's actually a pretty good match. But I think it's just so funny that it has Jazz versus some pretty little jobber.
Reddy
But
Sky.
yeah, we who was that?
Reddy Sky.
Rebby. Okay. So I first met Rebby when we worked on MTV's Lucha Libre USA, and that was in New Mexico. And I remember we had to room together at the Hard Rock, and she's awesome. I got to wrestle her on a couple of indie shows as well, and enjoyed working with her. She was really great, and every like I saw the last time I saw her was backstage at a WWE event. She had her kids with her, and I said hi to her, and she said hi to me, and it's just great to like be able to say hi to people, and they acknowledge you, and they don't act like they've
Yeah.
never met you before.
Yeah, and I guess
But
that was at the time when the Hardy Boys were back in WWE, I would
yes,
assume.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. because he's married to Matt Hardy.
Right, right, right. Yeah, and
And
and she's went on to have like the most beautiful kids and a great career, and yeah, so happy for her.
Eva Lise.
Eva Lise. Eva Lise and I didn't really do a whole lot together on the indies, which is unfortunate because I think we would have had some really great matches. Um, but no, I worked with her in Shine, but we've never really got to work each other.
See, what about here's a newer name. The Renegade Twins,
The Renegade
Robin and
Twins.
Charlotte Renegade.
Okay, so I worked them one time down in Warner Robins, Georgia, and they were great, very nice girls. And we talked about. They asked me how come I didn't think about being a trainer, and I was like, I would love to be a trainer. I would love to be an agent of some sort somewhere, helping other girls come up, And they were just like, oh, you should come and be the women's trainer at what was it, the Nightmare Factory? That's what they were asking me. They were like, why don't you
That was
come?
where Cody Rhodes is.
Yeah, they were like, why don't you
Cody
come up
Rhodes'
there
train
and be a
school.
trainer? And I was like, hey, they give me a call, I'll be there.
Yeah. That's Cody. I got maybe Cody Rhodes would love to have you, you know?
Yeah, who knows, I'm right here.
uh uh Serena Deeb.
Serena Deeb. So I knew her from OVW. We did we did a couple motion capture sessions together. I remember her coming up through OVW. Great girl, very positive. She's always been an incredible athlete, and so glad to have met her.
Solo Darling.
Gosh, Solo Darling. I know I've worked her on the Indies. Um, I know I have. It's just been a long time.
Yeah,
I'm sure it was a great
understand.
match.
Understand.
I'm sure it.
What about Leva Bates, who went by Blue Pants in
Eva.
AEW?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Or
Shine. We were at Shine together. I love her. Love her. Love the way she's always doing a different character. She's an actress too, I think. But no, very positive girl. Love her. Always loved watching
yeah,
her work.
no, not my bad. That wasn't Blue Pants in AEW. It was in WWE. She was in WWE briefly. So
Right,
that's
right.
Blue Pants. So I can't. That's my and that's my mistake. What about this one? You may have heard about one of your opponents in what AEW is doing with Rebel.
Love Rebel. Oh my God. When I first met Rebel, we were doing a indie show up in Tennessee. Um, and she was kind of my rival for that promotion. It was AWE. I can't remember the acronym, but it was a promotion out of Tennessee, and we were very much rivals. We worked each other a lot, and I just had the best time with her. She's just such a positive soul, like she's always happy. She was always happy. She was always joking around and wanting to make the match fun, so we would put spots in there to make people laugh and to get smiles out of people. And yeah, I just really enjoyed working with her because she was always just so positive. We actually did an ALS challenge here at my gym for her where I included all of my wrestlers. And if you see the video on my social media page, you'll see that every single person that trains here did the ice bucket. We did it down the line. And we hope that it put a smile on her face. Like I really hope that she's comforted and like going through
Yeah.
this with ease. And I know that's hard to say that, like,
Yeah.
I don't know what she's going through, but I love her to death. Rebel,
Yeah.
I love you.
Madison Rain.
Madison Rain. Yeah, I knew her on the indies as well. Going up through Shine. A lot of these girls I met at Shine. She was really nice, really sweet. I think we worked each other a couple times. Very nice girl. Yeah.
Natalia Markova.
I've never really got to personally meet her or work her. But she's an amazing athlete. She like I watch her, on NWA, and she is just the things that she does on there is like whoo. And she's an amazing athlete. She's an amazing worker. Yeah. Good for her.
There's a couple of male wrestlers on here that I guess you got in a match with the documentary. One of the sources. One of the male wrestlers, Johnny Swinger.
Johnny Swinger. Yeah, we were at Deep South together. And we wrestled on the indies after we were all released. Very nice guy. Love him. He's also another positive person. Like whenever you had a match and you came off, from your match, he's like, "So how was it?" And you're like, "Oh, well, this happened and this happened." And he's like, "Is anybody hurt?" No. Then it was a great match.
Well, that's
So,
a
yeah, and it was funny because every time like we would work each other during the match, he would always say, Do I owe you money? Like, why are you hitting me so hard?"
uh,
That would make
uh,
me laugh.
um, Mike Jackson, Action Mike Jackson.
Mike
The,
Jackson. Yeah, I love him. He's very funny. Yeah, he's a positive one. Like I got to tag with him a couple times, and we had a lot of fun.
Rocky Romero. Oh, wait a uh, Kalaki. Um, wait, Kalaki. Your camera is buggy, I guess. Wait a minute. Is your phone dead or something? Did something go wrong? Hope everything's okay over there. You didn't lose power or anything. That's the third time this happened. Kind of has some connection issues. Um uh Kalaki, are you there? Can you hear me? Is this all right? Oh wait, Kalaki? Oh wait a minute.
Here I am.
Okay. Is
I'm
is it
back.
working now? Hold
I don't
on a
know what
minute.
happened. I was like, crap, what happened? I'm gone.
I thought you lost power or have a connection issue or something like I
Yes, I don't
didn't
know
know what
what happened.
happened.
I was just gone all of a sudden. I couldn't hear what you were
Okay.
saying.
Okay. Um I was about to say Rocky Romero, but I don't know if you got that. I just
No. I know I don't have anything. I don't know. That doesn't ring a bell.
um what about Christy Ricky?
Christy Ricci. Okay, yeah. Gosh, that was a a blast from the past. Indies. We worked indies together. Um, Up in Tennessee. We worked a lot in Tennessee. And that was in my earlier days of my career. But I love working her. Yeah.
Lexi 5.
Lexi 5. Love Lexi. Oh my gosh. So when I was in, excuse me, when I was in Hawaii, I was working with Malaya Hosaka. And she's the one that actually told me about Lexi. And she was just like, if you're ever on the mainland and you need to do, are you looking for some work? Contact Lexi, and she's got you. And so, yeah, that's how I met Lexi, through Malaya.
And this one may or may not ring a bell. Francesca Chiazzo.
Is it Francisco Chiazzo?
Yeah, French. I think it's Francisco Chiazzo. Yeah.
Yeah, Frankie. Frankie. Yeah, so my husband and Frankie were really great friends, and we also worked the indies together. We worked that same show that we worked with Rebel, and we had a storyline going there, and it was a really fun time.
Alice Crowley.
Alice Crowley. So the first time I met her was at OVW, and that was my first match when I debuted back at OVW as TT. I didn't go back as Tracy Taylor. I went back as TT, and that was the first match that introduced actually TT to the world.
All right, let me give you a couple more, and I'll let you go. I'm gonna have Melissa Coates.
Melissa Coates. Oh gosh, we worked the indies together a lot, and we were really great friends. When we were coming up through Deep South Wrestling, she was always over hanging out with us, and um, yeah, up until the very end, we kept in touch, and I'm just like, I was really sad the way things ended with her, but she was always such a positive light. Like, she was always working hard, and always willing to work together on the indies. So I miss her.
I don't think I don't know if you remember her by her this name, but she goes under Asia Smith,
Asia Smith. No, I don't know.
the one of the referees in WWE nowadays.
Oh,
I think
Aja Pereira.
yeah.
Aja. Okay.
Aja.
Well, I worked her one time on the indies, and I just remember she kind of she did a podcast, and she mentioned that she wanted to work with me, and we made it happen. And yeah, we had a good match, but that was basically it. But I am very proud of her career path that she went on, and good for her.
Jordan Grace.
Jordan Grace. So yeah, back in the day, indies, we worked on the indies together. Um, she was, you know, we we had some great matches, and I don't even know if she remembers who I am to this day, but she has been here to my gym a couple times, and my daughter currently works with her husband at the Nightmare Factory, and
Yeah.
they they're still out there. He's still out there giving back and training people, and I like that she's able to go there and do that once a week with him.
Ren St. Clair.
Oh, that name sounds familiar. Um,
Is one of those NXT names.
is that what they go by now?
Yeah, Ren St. Clair.
What did they used to go by?
I can check real quick. Rents. That's what they were paired. I think they were paired up in some sort of segments with Joe Hendry. back in the NXT when he was on in the NXT brand. She used to be going by Maddie Renkowski.
Ugh, that doesn't ring a bell. I'd have to see a picture.
Jessica Carr.
Jessica Carr. Any other name?
That's what. Um, Katie Lee Burchill.
Okay, yeah. That was gosh, that was WWE days. I remember working her, not work, yeah, I worked her in California at a promotion out in California, and then I saw her backstage WWE when we were backstage a couple times. But yeah, that was about it.
Last one. Amber O'Neil.
Amber O'Neil, love her. She and I go way back. We did a lot of indies together. We still keep in touch to this day. And yeah, just every time I was around her, she was always so positive.
All right. I appreciate you coming on, Kalaki. It was great to talk to you. It was my pleasure, honestly. I know it's I don't know if I think I think your contract and does WoW have like any type of like yeah, did I have to talk to like WoW in regards to stuff like this, or is that like more lenient? You know, I know WWE's kind of like have to go through like the different creative like different hoops to get stuff together, you know, to get somebody to be
Well, I
interviewed.
mean, well, my career is so all over the place. I mean, there's so much history in my career that a lot of it uh, was way before WoW. And a lot of the things that you asked me had to do with my career before WoW. So it wasn't a majority like WoW interview. So I think it's fine. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
and yeah, so
That's
a
fine.
lot of the people that you
Yeah.
asked me about have nothing to do with it. So
Yeah. There's people like I think I watched your match with was it Vicious Veronica Varoon, and then with there was a wrestler, I forgot the name. It was no, it was it was managed by Lana Starr, and I forgot her name. I just had her I watched the match yesterday. Yeah, I was and I think there's another woman, Delilah Doom,
yes,
who's in WoW, I believe.
yes, yes.
Like okay. That's I'm just I'm just making sure. But again, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you talking to me. You know, the, it's my pleasure to have you on. You know, I'm just got back into this, and I appreciate you kind of talking about your career and in regards to throughout. So I really highly appreciate it.
Not a problem. Thank you for having
All
me.
right, you have you have a good one.
You too.
Aloha,
Aloha.
aloha. Uh, Well, there you have it. That is the Island Girl Kalaki. Um, in about a certain moments, as much as oops, as much as all right, as much as I would like. Siege. All right, we're gonna go through. We're gonna about so momentarily. This man who I've watched, this guy in CJ O'Doyle, who I watched wrestle, which I watched wrestle Colt Cabana. Um, and then there was another match. I can just go in my search history. But you know what? Sometimes I forget stuff. Forget what I watch. It's just in the spur of the moment. But yeah, CJ O'Doyle. Um, Definitely a good wrestler. You know, Kalaki. Hope she does well. Rob Echoes, the now known Robbie E, the general manager of NXT, who CJ O'Doyle was a face, and CJ O'Doyle in the Colt Cabana match was a heel. So I guess he worked both sides of the spectrum. So, and CJ O'Doyle was trained by, or it was said that he was trained by Hoppa and Zika. I would have to bring it up to him when he joins. So, um, Marshall, if you're watching, I hope you join one of these days. I know you can get back to me in a timely manner. I know that I understand that. So, anyway, honestly, I think wrestling as a whole, no matter who you meet, no matter if it's a women's wrestler, no matter if it's a women's wrestler, or if it's a male wrestler, or if it's maybe a non-binary trans, whatever it is, it's a great talking, great talk to regards to different styles. But there's also this wrestler started in 2002, the Irish Lionheart. So I'm just gonna wait for that shortly. But anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's doing fine. As we wait for the next guest to come in, I hope everybody is hope the weather's fine. I hope the weather's good. So as we wait for that, all these wrestlers today, different gimmicks, different styles. I know we were supposed to get Sexxxy Eddy, one of those raunchy characters in WWE or in wrestling as a whole. But you know what? We'll have that scheduled date. But as further ado, there's a man I'm going to introduce you momentarily. Is a veteran of the business for 20 plus years. If I'm wrong, he was trained by Offen Zika. I would have to make sure if that's correct or not. But as further ado, let me introduce you to a man that is known as the Irish Lionheart, CJ O'Doyle. Thank you for joining me, CJ.
Thanks for having me.
So how are you doing, CJ?
I'm doing pretty good, thanks. Yourself?
I'm doing good. I just got done just interviewing a desk and this second one. So so I was gonna ask if first question, is it true that you were trained by both Alpha and Zika?
Not by both of them. So I originally started in Philly. Actually, I went to like 2 or 3 classes down in Delaware with Jim Kettner's ECWA back when the Briscoes and Loki were just starting out. But I was like 15 years old and I couldn't drive from Philly to Delaware, so rides were not super common. There was no Uber or anything like that. So that didn't unfortunately work out. And then I started wrestling with, starting to be trained by a gentleman, Billy Reel, Pitbull #1 from ECW, Gary Wolf. And this was in the back of Hack, aka Sandman's Bar. Coincidentally, also in Delaware. However, somebody else was training there and they were able to give me a ride 1, 2, 3 times a week, weekends, etc. And then from there over to Pops. So not Sika, but over to Pops. God rest his soul. So and then I spent quite a lot of time under that learning tree. So
Okay, I just wanted to make sure if that's correct or not. So I appreciate you writing the down the middle, you know, telling you as
No
it
worries.
is, as it
Yeah,
was.
no worries.
So, um, so when you, so give me a minute, just, um, so
Take your
when
time.
you were growing up in before you started wrestling, before you were trained by those individuals and started getting into the business, what was your favorite? What was your favorite wrestler or wrestlers that you got the inspiration into getting into the business?
Getting into the business, I don't know that there was a particular wrestler. I think what happened was my parents made the mistake of turning on Saturday night's main event when Shawn Michaels beat the British Bulldog for the Intercontinental title. And I was like, what? The bad guy won? This is nuts. And then I was just kind of hooked ever since. And, it's very well documented. My born and raised in Philly. So I was super fortunate that right in my backyard was ECW, so I would go down every 3 weeks and watch it. And I would definitely say from an early age, my favorite was the franchise Shane Douglas. So
Mhm.
uh,
The
once
first
I
ever ECW champion.
and then once I started wrestling, I tried to be somewhat of a combination between both him and Chris Benoit. So. Um, I would say no one wrestler hooked me, but they were definitely influences for me. Um, once I was learning to wrestle and such.
You said you're in Philly. Have you ever actually been to the yeah, you ever been to the UCW arena in Philly?
Yes, I have. So, um, yeah, I mean, as a teenager, every 3 weeks they would be down there. So every 3 weeks I would be down there. And I believe my first show that I attended was I believe 1996 November to Remember, which was the debut of the BWO, Blue Meanie, who I'd go on to wrestle for later in life. Um, and every 3 weeks. And then they started shifting to every 4 weeks and every six. And I was there every single show until they shut their doors.
So, so
There you go, bro.
sorry about that. Just my my just came over. Just kind of gave me a little refreshment. So I apologize. I know it's sometimes real life gets in the way of things. So I
No
apologize.
worries. No worries.
So 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 what so so have you actually gotten to wrestle in the arena in the ECW arena?
I have on many, many occasions, and it was great because it was a dream come true. I remember the very first time I had a black Nike duffel bag with all of my gear, and I remember I might have even video recorded it because there was video recorders back in the day before iPhones, and I think I don't know, maybe I'm Mandela affecting myself, but I definitely remember walking into the arena. I definitely remember walking into the arena. I
Oh,
definitely
sorry. Sorry, I haven't. Sorry about that. Just if you just need to say hi, to me, I
all good,
apologize, man.
all good. So I remember the first time I
So I just wanted my little nephew just came in here, so kind of reminded. So
we all have nephews. It's all good.
well, I guess yeah, they definitely know it. So when you were starting training, so how was the experience like when you started getting into the ring and taking the bumps and like cutting promos and everything when you were breaking in?
How were the bumps? Is that the question?
Like how was the training basically overall?
Vigorous because Gary Wolf was to and from Japan at the time, so he would come back and bring his Japanese stuff with him, and anytime you train with a Samoan, you better be ready to bring your grit, bring your all, because that is not for the weak, and they will weed out the weak really quickly.
I see. So you've actually gotten to have a couple of handful of WWE matches. Is that right? You got to
Correct.
actually. So how was the experience? So how was that experience when were called out to do those I believe those NXT matches, the WWE matches.
The first one or two were nerve wracking. You want to go there and do your absolute best. And the butterflies are tremendous, and you're there. You're like, oh man, I've wrestled my whole life to get here. And then you just kind of realize you're like, hey, I belong here. And you're still a little nervous, but the more you're there, the more you're calm, and the more it becomes kind of routine, if you will. And fun. It becomes fun. It's like, yes, I got the call again. I'm going. You know what I mean? And you go there and you're excited, and you give it your all, and it's great.
Yeah, even if you were called up like local talent or like wrestle like they're used as enhancements, that at least it's a good opportunity to kind of get some exposure out of it. You know.
Absolutely.
You also have actually dipped your toe in TNA. Is a couple matches there, right? Is that correct?
That's correct as well. Yep.
So, how was that like when you were called up to TNA?
That was fun because that was always usually the day of or day before. So it was a lot of scrambling around for me to try to get down there. But same thing, you show up, you're at first nervous, and then you just, you're like, I belong, and you just fit right in. And it's a great time. And, again, you show up, you give your all, you do everything you're asked to the best of your ability. And it's a good time.
Um, so, um, so how what is so between TNA and WWE and different the indies like CZW and all these other promotions that you take bookings for, how's the locker room environment compared to when you were starting into the business and compared to now? What's what's the comparisons?
Um, I think I think there's two different answers. I think one is I was a lot younger then, and now I'm a lot older now, so my life perspective is different. Um, but I definitely think there was a lot more beers, brawls, babes back in the day, and it's a lot more. Um, I think I call it rice. I think I call it CrossFit and rice cakes. So um, I think, how do I describe it? I think it was just it's definitely different, that's for sure. But I would say definitely beers, brawls, babes. Right? You got a lot of legitimate tough guys that go to work and then they go out for the beers after. Not that they don't now, and not that there's not legit, obviously, but I think, I don't know if the word is more selfish back then and more team based now. That might be the best way to phrase it, where everybody wants to see everybody win these days, whereas maybe back in the day everybody didn't want to see everybody win.
Um, I asked this to a couple of people. Is there uh, um when you throughout your career, when I know kayfabe is like pulled back nowadays, like kind of you can actually kind of speak on to type stuff like when the Undertaker was like kept this character for his entire career and didn't really say much in regards to like outside of his character. You ever had a time where maybe early in your career that you gotten either got in trouble or like gotten like a strong reprimand if I like breaking like like back then they like kayfabe was like in the 80s they were really strict with kayfabe. They wanted to keep it like some sort of under wraps, not let the heels and the faces driving the same cars. Drive the road together, riding the road, like going on road trips and driving to the shows. You ever had a time where it was frowned upon, or you actually gotten involved where you or somebody else was got in trouble for breaking kayfabe?
No, I don't think I've ever gotten in trouble because I've always tried to protect it. So if I drove to the building if I'm a baby in their heel, I would drop them off a block away and let them walk. Because even from an early age, I always tried to protect it. So I never put myself in a position to get in trouble.
I see. So it's not like to keep that at least that little bit of secrecy, uh, just to keep it like more the appearance of like that's a bad guy. I don't want to like just to try to keep it under wraps, despite not actually being on screen yet, just not to be
People,
seen in public.
people will ask me today if it hurts, and I'll say, "Oh, let me body slam you. Let you tell me if it hurts."
Yeah. Um. So so if you so you wrestling on the independence promotions, if you had to pick one of the major companies that you would want to wrestle for, what would it be?
I would pick the WWE.
Is there I that makes sense because you were there. Not like in regards to contract or regards to like being having a couple matches there. So
Are we talking only the major ones?
like the
AEW?
like the like the top ones, like TNA, AEW, WWE,
Yeah,
Ring of Honor. If you want it,
I think I'd be a great fit for WWE. I think I'd be a great fit for TNA. I think I'd be a good fit for GCW. I think I'd be a good fit for any of the rowdier ones like GCW. Um, Currently, I wrestle for Fest in Gainesville. It's very ECW like, which is funny because I said rowdy, but I also said WWE and TNA. But as you said, I've already got the experience there, and I think that I get told a lot that I have a WWE style for whatever that means to you. But I think that you're asking the question, so I would pick
yeah, okay,
WWE. I would pick TNA. I'd pick a company like GCW. I would never turn
yes,
down AEW. That's for damn sure. I just think that I would never turn them down. I just think that you asked a question and I answered it.
worse, worse. You actually got to wrestle for CZW, which was an independent, like one of those big independent promotions that were like specialized in this death match type of wrestling. Have you? So have you? How was that like when you were there, if you can recall?
Um, wasn't super fun, if I'm being honest. It was great to be in a big company. I think I was probably there at the wrong time. They say experience isn't something you get until just after you needed it. I think that I I did ABC when I should have done XYZ. And now that I'm wiser, if I went back, I would know to do XYZ. So um, I'd come over from a different company, whatever, and it wasn't. Let me rephrase. It wasn't not fun. I just think I was inexperienced and didn't make the most of my run. I don't regret anything, but experience is the best teacher. So if I knew then what I knew now, it probably would have been a little bit better, if you will. Again, no regrets. Go back tomorrow and do it. And I know they still run, so maybe I'll go get my 15-year later comeback or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Yeah, it wasn't awful by any means. I had some great opponents. I had some great matches. There's just a few things now with experience. You know, you wrestle a
Like,
match, you watch it on tape, and you're like, "Dang, I should have done
yeah,
this, that."
yeah,
Well, there was a lot of learning at that moment, so it was probably just the wrong time for me to be there, and experience level wise.
yeah, yeah. And CZW is one of those, obviously, those deathmatch promotions, which obviously is kind of controversial with quite a bit of critics, like Jim Ross, or not Jim Ross, Jim Cornette.
I'm gonna
um,
I'm gonna
what?
disagree with you there, Kyle, because while they are a deathmatch promotion, or were, they also at that time had the likes of Kevin Steen, Chris Hero, Claudio Castagnoli, and they had a lot of pure wrestling on the show, which is what made them such a top promotion. You could go there and see a Drake Younger, or you could see a Sabian and Joker for your lightweights. You know what I mean? Or your Smash Mouth. You know, they had the Hit Squad at one
Yeah,
point. They had Homicide. They had a who's who, which is why they were CZW. And they offered a little bit of everything, just like ECW, which is what made them so appealing. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't put them in a shoebox, you know?
let's see. So if you say you were to work with WWE out of the major promotions, what type of dream matches would you like to have if you were given the chance to sign with WWE? It's like if you were fantasy booking in your head, like,
Oh, man. Who would I want to wrestle right now?
uh, yeah, if it was up to you, yeah. If it was you had some,
If it was up to me, I'm going after QB1 and I'm going after the Tribal Chief. You go right after the big dogs.
they go after his championship, you tried.
You go right after the big dogs. Go after CM Punk. Go after all them big dogs.
Nice.
You want to
I
make
see.
right?
What I would, I was gonna, what I was gonna say, about CZW. What do you think? What is your honest opinions about the deathmatch style of wrestling? That's what I was about to ask.
I think
Regards
there's
to CZW.
I think there's something for everyone. I've done a little bit of it myself. I've done a little death match myself. I've done a little no ring match myself. I don't know that I consider myself a death match wrestler, but I certainly am known to get a bunch of staples and stitches and all that in my back and in my side and in my head. So I'm no stranger to it. And I think that they've worked really, really hard to put themselves on the map, and I think they've done a great job putting themselves on the map. And I give them all the respect in the world. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I understand if it's still not for everybody, but they don't have to watch. So,
Yeah.
but yeah. So, what's my thoughts? I think that's something for everybody. I think I've done it. I think there's a lot of people that pretend they don't want to, but secretly do. And that's my thoughts on it.
I
Shout out to the
see.
deathmatch companies.
See. We see here also. You've actually worked for Juggalo Championship Wrestling. Is correct? Is that right?
That's
Jug-
actually that's actually incorrect. That's a myth. Um, what
oh.
What's funny is in a company in Philly, they wanted to give a student the rub, so they gave him a gimmick of my brother, and I think it was KJ O'Doyle, and it was actually him that went out and wrestled, and they mislabeled him as CJ. So I've gotten all the credit. I've
Oh.
gotten all the credit for doing it, which is great. But it's also not too far fetched because I've done plenty of shows with the clowns, and I'm a lifelong juggalo since I'm a teenager. So, and everybody at least knew that about me, that I've been down with the clown and I'm down for life. So it's not far fetched that it would have been me out there.
It was K. O'Doyle. It wasn't CJ O'Doyle. That wrestled for JCW.
Correct. But it's not like it's
Okay.
far fetched. But it's not far fetched that it would have been me. So I'll take the notoriety.
Okay. All right. So what was the generally on the in the indie scene that you've traveled through the major promotions that you got into wrestle, and the indie promotion that you started to wrestle now and take bookings from? what is mainly the atmosphere on the indie scene to you compared when you were first breaking out or like starting to get in like the first couple years? Now, when it comes to and then compared to what it was now, like what's the atmosphere like on the indies?
I think it's pretty similar in the sense of you got a bunch of young, hungry guys that just want to go out there and prove themselves and steal the show. I think the only difference is now the older guys are helping and want to contribute, et cetera, et cetera. And this could be my own personal experience, but a lot of times I think they were not wanting to do anything and not super helpful. At least when I was a youth. But now I see the old heads doing their best to help out. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's see if you know. Throughout your career, you've gotten to wrestle some quite notable opponents on the indies. Uh, you you don't mind if I go over some of the superstars that you actually got into wrestle on the indie scene? You don't? Do you mind?
Go for it.
All right. Let's start with Rockin' Rebel.
What about them?
I'm talking about like in regards to like how your relationship was with if it was like beyond professional and you got into garner a personal relationship like on a personal level or just beyond like professional. That's what I'm basically asking. I forgot to say that.
You know what? In a time of need, he did me a big solid, but I think his end result speaks. I, I, I'll be grateful for the favor he did when I needed, but I am still speechless.
Loud, man. Oh, yeah.
I see. All right. Let's go with Chris Hamrick.
He was super great to work with. Super great, super helpful, super just tens all around.
Lloyd Anua'i.
Super great.
Mike Quackenbush.
I wrestled him once. We had a great match. He booked me for Chikara a little bit. I can't say that I had too much of a relationship outside of just, hey, come wrestle for me. Thanks for having me. This is what I want out of the match. This is what we're doing in the match. So I can't say that I have a personal relationship with him.
Ricky Vega.
Ricky Vega.
Yeah.
He was a cool cat, man. We had great matches together. I wish he would have had more success than he did. And the world was his oyster. He might have been a case of right guy, wrong time. He had the look, he had the talent, and I almost wish he was around now because he had all the tools.
You mentioned him as a trainer, but you actually got to wrestle him. Gary Wolf.
Gary Wolf hits hard as a mother trucker. Actually got to wrestle him a couple years ago. That was super awesome. Super nice. Didn't have to do what he did and train me. And I think I just shot him a message the other day.
Tama Tonga.
He's awesome. Since day one, he has had all the charisma in the world, and to see all of his success is not surprising at all. So, yeah, he's great too. Maybe I'm too nice. Everyone's so great. He's so great. Everyone's great.
Anthony Mayweather.
Crimson?
Hmm?
Oh, Crimson, another one. Jesus, super great. I wonder what he's up to these days, but he was super great. That was challenging because he's freaking 8 foot tall. But we told a great story in front of a couple thousand people, and I would do that again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Samuel Shaw, or known as Dexter Loomis, formerly known as Dexter Loomis.
Great matches. We wrestled in CNA. We wrestle them tomorrow.
Mike Whipwreck. Mikey Whipwreck. Yeah.
I mean, ECW legend. How can you go wrong?
Yeah. I guess you can't go wrong with it. Reckless Youth.
That dude he probably wakes up doing wrestling holds in his sleep. That dude's the man of 2,000 holds. Holy cow. What a pleasure to watch as a kid. What an amazing human being, at least in my experience. Hopefully he's still an amazing human being. I'm sure he is. And one of the originators of, I would say, the indie style that you see today or whatever.
DJ Hyde.
DJ Hyde, owner of CZW currently.
Monster Mac.
Monster Mac threw me into a post at our ECW arena, launched me like 6 feet up in the air. I remember I was like 180 pounds, and I'm like, I better hit this guy with everything I got. And I did, and it was like, is that all you got? And then he just pounds me. So super nice guy. Hits even harder than you would imagine. And I'm sure you imagine.
The matches I've seen, there's 2 matches I've seen before this. I saw your match. What about Rob Echoes, now known as Robert Stone?
Fight that guy forever. And Ricky Vega. Fight all these guys forever. Some guys have a bad match with, and Rob Echoes is one of them.
Colt Cabana.
Another one. Great matches.
Claudio Castagnoli.
Oh, he's so good. I don't know that I realized just how good he was back when we wrestled. I mean, I did. Don't get me wrong. But so good. So talented. Deserves more than what he's doing now.
Tony DeVito.
Tony DeVito, the man. I've been tagging with him lately. Tony DeVito, super cool. ECW original. Nice fella. He'll probably hate that I said that. And yeah, bald line tag partner.
Kurt Angle.
Oh, he might be one of the guys that's hit me the absolute hardest ever. But what an absolute honor to
be. There's this wrestler that I've met in the Virginian independent scene, the Greek god Papa Don. Yep.
Papa Don, ever heard of him? Good, fine matches.
Damian Adams.
Another great guy, fine matches, good trainer.
Haku.
Legend.
Trent Acid.
Ugh, gone too soon. That dude should have been a WWE World Champion. He was also an innovator. He had it all. Gone too soon.
Him and JC Bailey, those two, those are known death match wrestlers, or in the death match scene, or have death matches themselves.
Was Trent Acid a death match wrestler?
Or at least he competed in death matches and JC Bailey and Trent Acid. I used to be tagging with the Johnny Cashmere as the Backseat Boys.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't know if I would consider Trent deathmatch guy, but regardless, he was definitely
at least
he was definitely. I mean, I've been a participant, but I mean, Trent was definitely around in the early ROH days. Helped foster in that style. Just gone too soon, man.
Simon Diamond.
Legend. ECW original, legend. Honored to wrestle him. Super down to earth guy. And I'll do anything when Simon says.
Sin Bodhi.
Oh, the man, super creative, one of the most giving back fellas. Just I don't think he gets enough credit at all.
Yeah, he was as Kazarni in WWE, and that's all. A lot of people know him about him as a Kazarni. AJ Francis.
AJ Francis. Oh, he's awesome. He's awesome
Effie.
doing his thing. He's crushing it right now on TNA, and I'm happy to see his success.
Oh. Effie.
Effie, another one, crushing it. Making money on the indies with no national exposure. Him and AJ both crushing it.
Stevie Richards.
Oh, way too good. People have no idea how good Stevie Richards is. Unless you've been in the ring with him.
Yeah, now he has his own YouTube show, and he's doing his own analysis, just like Maven is. Adam Rose.
Adam Rose, super talented. Another one. I mean, maybe I'm just really lucky that I got in the ring with these guys, but I liked that OOO gimmick, whatever.
Yeah.
But he super good. I wish he would have had even more success.
Yeah, it was on him and only had that like his movement with the party gimmick, and they kind of give off a little bit of how Godfather had the hoe train, but it's more like the family friendly version of that. So that kind of definitely it's a little bit aspects of that. That's at least that's my opinion. Definitely underrated. Shannon Moore.
Oh, wrestle that guy in my sleep. Another one, so good. We've put on 20, 30-minute matches. He's so good and he's so nice. These people better say I'm nice too.
That would be awkward if it wasn't mutual respect, But
everyone's got their own opinion, but everyone you've said so far is so awesome, so nice.
Rhett Titus,
another one, super nice, super great. I don't think I've seen him in a long time, but
Aaron Solo,
super nice. We were roomies during a loop one time. Super talented. I'd like to see him get more opportunities.
Blue Meanie.
The man. I mean, I don't know that there'd be a me without him. He gave me a platform with 3PW. So, yeah. It's the Blue Meanie. I've got 20 different inside jokes that are all fighting to come out of my mouth at once, which is why I'm just not able to say anything. But if there was no Blue Meanie, if there was no Blue Meanie, there would probably be no me because he gave me that platform. I'm forever indebted.
I see. No, well, that's good to have. Jack
Victory. High spot. Next.
That's what he's that side. Jack Victory just high spot.
High spot.
Let's see here. Jigsaw.
Yeah, super nice guy. I feel like I just saw him recently. Super nice guy, super talented.
Madman Fulton.
Madman Fulton, another one. Super nice, super talented, super strong, ridiculously strong.
Yeah, he's definitely menacing. When he was in the Sanity stable, he's definitely menacing. I think he's in TNA now. He's Mike Knox.
Mike Knox. He was nice to me. Super nice guy. I mean, he was nice to me. I don't have much interaction with him outside of the Aces and Eights stuff, but super nice. And yeah.
Bushwhacker Luke.
Nice, I think. I think he was always in character.
I guess he is in regards to that. Vordell Walker.
Nice guy. Haven't heard that name in a while. Hope he's doing well.
Supreme Lee Great.
I think he's got a storied. Past, but hey, let me tell you, he's always been nice to me, and every time we've had a match, he's always been more than giving because it was definitely during a time where I was learning, and he could have embarrassed me if he wanted to, and he was always super gracious with me. So I'll be indebted to him as well. He always made me look like $1 million when he did not have to, and could have made me look like a penny. So
Yeah. Wes Briscoe, the son of Daryl Briscoe.
I see him at the gym all the time. We're boys.
Icarus.
Oh, I don't know that I can comment. I don't know if I've seen him in 20 years. He was nice to me when we wrestled.
Pablo Marquez.
Another guy I think with a storied past, but I hate to have the trend here, but he's always been gracious to me and nice to me in the ring, and I think he's a guy that could probably twist you into a million pieces. And I'm, as you can tell, I'm speaking just on my own experiences. I'm not trying to defend nobody, but like he could have made me look like an idiot, and instead he was always good with me in the ring. So
Too Cold Scorpio.
And it's not an endorsement by any means. I'm just giving you my experience.
Of course.
Too Cold Scorpio's the man. He's a legend. I was so scared that I was so scared we were driving to a show and I was getting really low on gas and I thought we were going to run out of gas. And I'm like, what a rookie mistake. I cannot run out of gas with Too Cold Scorpio in the car. Thankfully I didn't. And we had a hell of a match and had another legend. So
Samoa Joe,
awesome. Super awesome. I shouldn't be saying how awesome he is probably because I don't want to kill his aura.
Tom Latimer,
goddamn, super fucking talented. I've had some of my best matches with him. I'd wrestle him tomorrow. It looks like he's doing great. I'm happy for him. And so fucking talented.
Gangrel,
Super talented, still doing it at this age. Jesus, that man's Benjamin Button.
Garrett Bischoff, Eric Bischoff's son.
Super nice guy, solid matches. I know he's doing well, and I wish nothing but the best for him. He's a great fella.
This a very good, which is a very good wrestler. That's an interesting name.
I know who he is. We're boys. Great guy, good dad. He's a very good wrestler.
Tracy Smothers,
R.I.P. the man. At his age, he would still show up to the building first, sleep on the floor. He's the epitome of paying dues up until his dying day.
Wow, even in his older age. Yes, that's
nice guy. Always gave back. Never forgot where he came from.
Doug Gilbert.
That was fun to be in the ring with him. Even at his old age, didn't know what was going to happen. You're like, all right, fuck it. Whatever happens, happens. Let's go.
Caleb Conley,
super talented. Haven't seen him in a while. And again, the theme, you can probably recite it after me. Super nice to me.
The AOP, Ackerman Razor.
Again, they were nice to me. I don't have a whole lot of interaction with them, but they were always nice to me backstage. Fun fact, I was their first match, at least first match on TV. And I thought it was great because I was trusted to make them look like the monsters they are. Not that they needed help, but yeah, super great. I'd always see them backstage, and they were super nice. So,
Samu.
oof. Remember, I broke his nose in the ring one time. I watched him put his nose back in place, and you could just hear me.
Ugh.
You can hear me in the cheap seats yelling, "I'm so sorry! I'm so sorry! I'm so sorry!" I was 19
Oh.
years old. I was 19 years old, 180 pounds, and you could just hear me yelling, "I'm so sorry! I'm so sorry!"
Oh. And this was early in your career.
Correct.
Wow. And
Hopefully, he's forgiven me
that
by now.
hopefully, yeah. Hopefully he will. It's definitely an accident. Accidents happen in the ring.
Was it an accident,
What?
or was I trying to make a name for myself?
Oh,
No, it was absolutely an accident, Kyle.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
You don't. There's two things you don't do. You don't tug on Superman's cape, and you don't break a Samoan's nose.
ah, yeah. Don't mess with the Samoans. Yeah, that's definitely one of those rules in wrestling. Serpentico,
Yeah, super nice, great matches, great guy.
Kevin Koo.
Kevin Koo, super nice guy. I need to catch up to him on tattoos.
Let's see, Martin Stone, formerly known as Danny Burch.
Oof, way too talented not to not be in a major company right now.
Mike Mondo.
I'm glad to see he is in a major company right now. So talented, so nice, rebuilt himself from the ground up. What a epitome of I guess not giving up, or at least surveying the lay of the land and saying, "Hey, I got to do something." And he went out there and he did it. He made himself undeniable. That's the trendy phrase. He made himself undeniable, and I'm super excited for him.
James Storm.
James Storm, great match. Would do it anytime.
Big Swole.
Big Swole. Fun match. I think it was supposed to be 1-on-1 and it turned into 2-on-1, or supposed to be triple threat or whatever. Either way, super fun.
Tatanka.
Ha. That is probably even before the franchise. Franchise was a teenager. Tatanka was my first favorite. 8, 9, 10 years old, waving my arm in the air like Tatanka. So he was probably my first favorite, going back to your earlier question. And it was like, whoa, 8-year-old me is like shitting himself. This is so cool. And what's even cooler is Rob Echoes told me that they had just wrestled in England like the week prior, and that Tatanka can still go, and don't underestimate him. I was so thankful for that tip, because then we went out there and wrestled 22 minutes. Still one of my favorite matches to this day, with one of my favorite wrestlers growing up. I was very lucky to be in the ring with Tatanka. Super cool.
Francisco Ciazzo.
Oh,
Chiazzo.
rest in peace, man. Gone way too soon. Nothing but good matches. Great fella. Hurts my heart that he's not here. We rode together. He's got a knife. I don't know. I don't know. It hurts that he's not here. So, I just always gave back, knew his place, never tried to take more. I I hate that he's not here.
Jesse Neal.
Jesse Neal, great dude. Saw him recently. Yeah, I just want to see nothing but the best for that guy.
Big Con.
I'm sorry, you broke up.
Big Con, or Connor of the Ascension.
Oh, super great guy. Love that guy. Except for the fact that he's a monster. I'd wrestle him any day of the week.
What about his tag partner, Dr. Victor? Dr. Vic.
Yeah, same thing. Super nice guy. Wrestle him any day of the week. Wrestling the Ascension was great. And he's a great wrestler too. I wish nothing. They both should have had more accolades than they got.
Jason Jordan.
Jason Jordan, freak talent, super strong, and it's very a shame that he had that career-ending injury, but he's still there, and he gets to run the business every day. But super strong, super natural, and the sky was the limit.
Kimberly.
Kimberly, she was super talented. I would have liked to see her go more places. I'm not really sure why she didn't, but that's none of my business, and I don't get involved. So,
April Hunter.
Wait, Kimberly?
Kimberly.
Oh, I'm sorry. There was a Kimberly and then a Kimberly. I wrestled them both, actually. Sorry. Kimberly, she was in the women's tournament. She was in TNA. You know what? My answer still stands. Super nice. And she still should have had more accolades than she did. I wish more success upon her. And same thing with the other Kimberly I thought you were talking about. Both of them super talented. And I wish both of them had even more than they did.
Kiara Hogan.
I think I owe her a staple. She stapled me in the Johnson. That hurt. But I'm glad to see her get success.
Savannah Evans.
Nah, Savannah. Pretty sure I owe her a butt kicking too. But another one. She was in TNA. I wish better things. And but I keep saying that, but I don't know. There's always two sides to a story, and I don't know. So
Of course.
I just think the world of her and all the talent. Period.
Michael Tarver.
Limited interaction, but everything fine when we were acting. Nice guy, good stuff, good matches. I guess this is just a situation. There's only so many spots. You're naming all these names, and there's only so many spots to go around. I guess if I had it, everybody would be champion, huh?
Yeah, but they could say that about anybody, But that behind the scenes, like where it comes in the booking department, storylines wise, that's hard because like WWE roster is really loaded, and you can't make everybody champion there,
You've said a lot of names, and you don't know who had personal situations come up and they've removed themselves, or falling outs this or whatever that. So I don't know someone's business. So
yeah, of course. It just recalling over your personal experiences with them.
Yeah,
just alone, not their personal controversies.
I'm realizing through talking with you that I've had great experiences with so many people.
Yep, and you definitely continue to do so. Let's see. Kylan King.
Oh man, I hope she's done being injured. She's great, and she's been injured for like 6 centuries now. So I hope that that's almost over.
Sean Spears.
One of the absolute best professional wrestlers in all of wrestling. Him, Adam Rose, Shannon Moore, a couple others that you've named. Sean Spears will never, in my opinion, get the credit that he needs.
The Joey Knight and Robin Nightwing, the All-Nighters.
They were super funny. That's 20 years ago. They were super funny. Nice guys.
Kahagis, I think I'm.
Haggis,
Yep.
world traveled veteran, respected, and we always have good matches. Super nice. I think we've brawled through a couple bars before.
Alley Catch or Alley Cat.
Yeah, again, super nice, good match. Would wrestle again.
Corey Graves.
Corey Graves. Oh man. Yeah, super talented. I'm so glad that he's had a job for as long as he had. That's amazing. Nobody wants to be told they can't wrestle anymore. And
Yeah.
he was super talented then. I'm sure that doesn't go away. I hope he's loving what he's doing. And just the optics look like everything's going well. So I hope that to be true.
Captain New Japan. It's
I don't think he wrestles anymore, but he nice guy. It was definitely a learning experience. We were roommates for like 6 months to a year, and it was an interesting clash of cultures. And again, experience isn't something you get till just after you needed it. And I wish I could go back and do it again. But super nice guy, and I think I could do a whole other podcast about him. So we'll just leave it at that.
Bobby Orlando.
Nice guy, good matches.
Diamante.
Tons of good matches. Nice gal. Wish nothing but success.
It's Eddie Arango. That's one of the referees. He used to be a wrestler.
I believe that was Bandito Jr. We had a couple good matches, some cool venues, awesome high flyer, and I'm glad to see he's gainfully employed for, hopefully for life.
Adam Windsor.
Same thing. Nice guy, good matches.
Wait. Reno NY.
Same thing. Nice, great guy, good matches. Hits hard as a mother.
Devon Dudley.
Devon Dudley, super nice. A pleasure to work with. And a good learning tree.
Sue Young.
Sue Young, awesome. Awesome person. Awesome, just everything. Awesome matches. Wrestle her tomorrow.
QT Marshall.
Super great guy, super nice. I'm glad to see him having all the success that he does. I remember when he told me he was going to do this, that, and he went out and did this, and that, and that's amazing.
Craig Classic.
Craig Classic. I don't know if he wrestles anymore, but he was super talented. Great Japanese style wrestler who I think did go to Japan a couple times. Nice guy.
John Davis. I think that's
John Davis. I'm just going to say you need to look up John Davis. I saw you struggling to say his name. You need to look him up.
Yeah.
You need to look him up. He's a bruiserweight. He is smash mouth. He is old school. He is new school. I've probably taken years off my career having fights with that guy.
Anthony Michaels.
One half of the Untouchables. Nice guy. Not sure what he's doing now, but I hope it's all good stuff. Hope he's doing well.
La Parca.
La Parka,
Yep.
the Luchador.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
I just written all these people down that are like have notoriety, you know, and
Yeah.
and I just looking
Making me
through
realize how
these.
lucky I am.
But I, is there any like with all the men I said, is there any like, you know, like stories either that you could uh tell me in regards to throughout your career that are worth noting, like it would even either with the guy like the promotions you wrestle with or the promotions or the wrestlers you wrestled with. Is there any like you know on the like road stories or that you could share or any type of wrestling stories throughout your
Is there anything specific? I mean, there's lots of stories. I don't even know where to
like
begin. I mean, a lot of them,
uh,
all the good ones, either involve women or having to find a bathroom.
is there Is there is there any story that you could tell that where like you were in a match where it was supposed to go as planned, but something either a spot went wrong and they had to change on the fly, or somebody got injured in the match and they had to do the X symbol? Does that ever happen in one of your matches? That like they had to legit to stop
You
the
know,
match?
knock on wood. I don't know that I've had to actually ever stop a match. We've always finished. There's been a couple times where I've gotten knocked down and come to in the back with a concussion or whatever. Um, you know, there was a couple times I played with glass where one time I ended up staples and stitches in my back. Uh,
Ooh.
let's see, broken bone. I always just get up and finish. Thankfully, I've never had the X sign thrown off. You know, a couple times I won't name names, but a couple times I've had to tackle people for being a hothead and just tell them to chill out.
Yeah.
Of course, there
Did
was a
you
time. Of course, there was a time, as I said, where I accidentally broke Sam's nose, and then I watched him put it back into place. That was
yeah.
not planned.
Yeah.
But yeah.
There I missed a couple. I think I missed two names here down here. um, Umaga or Jamal. I think he may have wrestled.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that was like an 8-man tag. Super nice guy. Grateful for the opportunity.
Reno, WCW wrestler Reno.
I don't recall that one. I just recall Reno NOI.
Okay. Oh, Doc Gallows. That's a glossed
The good
over him.
brother, super cool. Super
Yeah.
cool, super nice guy. Known him for a long time.
Okay. Well, back to what I was saying. I just kind of missed those names, kind of glossing over them. Forgot to even mention them.
Where's Chris Crude on that list?
Chris Crude.
Where's he on the list?
Uh, I I don't think I've written down Chris Crude. I've written down quite a bit of names, um, at least the ones that people written like you know Wikipedia pages about, and I not like all of them. You know, not all the rest. I would not
I've had
name like every single one.
I've had some big old battles with that bastard. So um, we've had some great matches. Actually, every match has been a great match. So next time you do a list, he's got to be on that list. We've wrestled numerous times all over, including at the ECW arena. We got, yeah, you just need to look him up. He's got a F New York chant in that building. One time the Blue Meanie got his boot stuck in his tuchus. I'll let you look that up.
Oh,
One time we ducked 12, not one time I ducked 12 of his clotheslines in a row.
mm,
And I'm pretty sure I've beat him every time in that building. But regardless, that's one of my favorite opponents. So
Okay.
I'd love to say he's a nice guy. No, I'm just kidding. He's a nice guy. Um, nice guy, great friend. A lot of the opportunities I got is because of him too. So next time he's got to be on that list.
Yeah, definitely will. That's what I was about to say. In regards
He
to
was in
stories.
WCW at one point, but I'll let you look that up.
Yeah, I'll definitely will. So was was there what throughout your career? Did you ever have to like give like when something went wrong or somebody like hit you like like obviously there's wrestlers that work snug and like a little hard hit a little more hard than actually just taking like a work punch. um did you ever have to give a receipt to anybody like
Yeah,
in the ring?
a couple times I had to tell people to chill the f out.
um did um did you have any type of like different stipulation matches that were when you first thought, I was like, wait, what type of match is this? Like you were confused, like you were kind of like you
Yeah,
didn't completely understood it until you were out there, until you actually got in the match. Like what
no,
was
no, because I won't let myself get out there unless I absolutely understand it. Because if I don't understand it, how am I supposed to deliver? But I'm sure there's definitely been some head scratchers at first where I'm like, what the hell are we doing here? And then had to figure it out as we went along.
did you ever do a match like completely on the fly?
Of course, one time, there's been a couple of shows where they've done legitimate like lethal lotteries where you get the ring. There was a company in South Florida, I forget which one, but they used to do shows like once a month or once every 6 weeks where it would be Who Wants to Wrestle, and then you would show up and it would complete shoot. They would just call a name out to the ring. You had to be ready, and then you would go out there. Those were always fun.
It did you did you ever have to um did you ever have to do like those types of matches where you didn't where you were supposed to wrestle on the like when somebody else was wrestling on the card and you actually that were like a last minute replacement? Never happened?
Have I ever been a last minute replacement?
Yeah, for somebody that either missed out on the card or couldn't make it, like that type of thing.
Oh, I'm positive I have. I can't place it at this moment, but I'm positive I have. The amount of times I've laced up my boots in a rush, I'm positive I have.
Um, I know. Did throughout your career, did you ever kind of get into? Did you ever actually gotten? You ever suffered you ever suffered an injury while you were doing a match like that had to that obviously you said you finished the match no matter what, and didn't go the X sign. Did you ever have to? Did you ever get injured during a match or like after the match and didn't realize it until you were out of the match?
Oh yeah, there's been plenty of times where I think I'm good, and then I'm driving home. I'm like, huh, why does this hurt so much? Huh, why does that hurt so much? And then I'm like, oh shit.
Um, did those types of injuries kind of lead like months off action, or was it more like a fat like kind of hasty and just kind of you got back in soon as you could,
Um,
like
no,
that type of thing?
I still actually hold my hands on the bench. I still hold my hands to this day, funny on a bench press, because I didn't realize I was hurt. And then I was like, oh shit, that sucks. And then I still went and um, wrestled and lifted and stuff like that. Much. It was I don't know, 15 some years ago. A lot stupider back then.
Oh, okay. I forgot to ask this in the beginning. Well, who came up with what was the idea behind the Irish Lionheart name?
So, Irish
Nickname.
Lionheart.
Yeah.
So I was already Irish, but then I was wrestling, I think, in Delaware, and I was like, I need a nickname besides just CJ O'Doyle.
Yeah.
And I've always loved lions. I've always
Yeah.
heard about the heart of the lion,
Yeah.
and I think it just fit. I think it just fit. And then of course, Chris Jericho is the Lionheart, and I knew that, but what's old is new, and he wasn't using it, so I think it just was. I've got the heart of a lion, and eye of the tiger, but the tiger eye didn't sound as good as the lion heart. So I think I borrowed from Jericho, and I need a nickname, and that's what it was.
Yeah, he even brought the Lionheart back. I think it was a year or two ago for a match in AEW. So that's definitely some inspiration from that. One last question, I'll let you go, CJ. So if whenever you actually do decide to lace up the boots and or call it a day in the ring, what would you like to do afterward?
I think I would just want to be an agent. I think my mind is way better than any of my talent. And, Francisco Chiazzo, when he would book shows, he would, come to me to help put matches and finishes together. And, growing up in Philly, ECW, learning from, guys like Gary Wolf, Sandman, Alpha, Pops, I think agent would probably be my best role, or creative.
Okay.
Or agent, I think, would be my best two roles and what I'd like to do.
So you want to still stay in the wrestling business even after you get out of the retire from it?
It's ingrained in who I am.
All right. CJ, I appreciate you coming on. It was definitely great talking to you. It was great to hear your stories, and I hope you do great, and I hope everything goes well in your however you have left in your Nate, who knows? Who knows how long you have left in the ring? You never know until you never know. Honestly. But nonetheless, I appreciate you coming on, CJ. I know.
I appreciate you having me, Kyle.
All right. You have a good one, CJ.
Thanks, man. You too.
All right. See ya. And there you have it. That's CJ O'Doyle, the Irish Lionheart. And we'll do next upcoming Wednesday. We got Drew Blood. And I think Sexxy Eddy is actually supposed to be on that show, supposed to be on that podcast episode. But nonetheless, I'll see you guys in there, and hopefully my buddy Marshall will join me on one of these days. I pray to hope. All right, the time is right. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.